So again, hello everyone. Welcome to this SAP community call. My name is Svea Becker and I'm from the SAP community team. And with me today, I have some great two great speaker from the SAP Intelligent RPA team. And this is Vijay and Pierre. And Vijay is a product expert at SAP. He joined SAP in 2005 as a development specialist and worked in the capacity of developer, product owner, architect, and product manager across various SAP products. And the product experts group, which he's part of, the SAP Intelligent RPA team, this team defines the strategy and direction of the product. And the second speaker is Pierre Cole. And Pierre has really an impressive background because he has an extensive 30 plus years background and expertise in marketing and communication, and analyst and investor relations for internet and telecommunications and IT companies. So really long time. And before he even came to SAP in 2018, he was chief marketing officer of the French-based RPA software vendor. So he has really a lot of experience as well. And yeah, today's SAP community call is about what's new with SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation. And I would like to hand over to Vijay. He's starting this presentation today. Thanks for being here. And I will put my video on stop so that no one is distracted. So enjoy the call, everyone.
Thanks, Faye. So I'm Vijay. So good morning, good afternoon to everyone, wherever you are in the world. So let's start quickly. So today's agenda overall is we go through the new features that we have released for 2003 and 2004 versions together. And then at the end of that session, Pierre will also talk about the marketing and communication topics. After this, after we go through this initial list of features. Okay, so the first part, what is new with 2003 and 2004 releases of SAP Intelligent RPA? So we have clustered the topic to few different clusters. So we have some topics on trial. So there are some improvements to the trial landscape. So we want to cover that. On the cloud components, we have some improvements to store, factory, and also the store and factory together, because there is some overlaps between some features. And also in the new cloud factory, there is a lot of improvements that we have done in terms of agents and new environments, etc., which we want to cover in detail. Then some minor good UI layout changes to the Cloud Studio, and also the user task improvement that we want to cover. And for the on-premise components, there are some improvements to the connectors, new features being added to the connectors, which we want to also cover in today's sessions. So without any delay, let me go to the first cluster, that trial and store improvements. So this was released in 2003. So wherever you see a 2003 in background, that means that this feature was part of 2003 release already. Just to make sure that say some topics are from 2003, some are from 2004. Okay, so there is an improvements to the number of cloud projects that can be created in the trial. So previously it was 10. So you could only create 10 cloud projects. Now we have increased it to 20. Okay, so also the packages. So you know the project is one type of artifacts. From the project you can create n number of packages. So initially it was 20, so we have increased it up to 30. So up to 30 packages can be created or imported in the studio. Then in terms of trigger, there was also a limitation into the number of triggers that you can add. There was only 20 with all the 4 types of triggers, the attended, unattended, API, etc. So you could only create 20. So now we have increased it to 30. Okay, so these are the improvements in the trial quotas that you will see from 2003 onwards. Now going into the store. So, from the store, there is already quite a, so I'll also cover the additional bots or number of bots that we have added to the store in the last few months. It has gone up to 76 right now. So there is already a lot of content on the store that you can use out of the box. So one of the improvement was when you get a package or a content from the store, you can rename it. So you can rename the package into the name that you want to. And this was not transparent into the user. So this improvement that you see here, the package, you rename it and then you get the package. So this is transparent to you. And in future, when you get the new version, the name is respected. So you will continue to see the same name, and you can upgrade the package from the store with the new version without the need to do the renaming again and again. So this improvements will let you use the package seamlessly. Okay, so this is the first improvements. So now going into the store and factory improvements. So this is so why I clubbed it together is because this feature is applicable to both store and factory. Okay, so this is mainly in terms of package versioning. So you will see what is this improvement all about. So the improvement is all about improving the package versioning. So previously we had you can see 1.0 and then a build. So this was, so we were showing the build number only. So we were not showing the real package number. And there are few scenarios that I want to cover. So right now, at any point, you can release a package. Releasing a package means that you are happy with that package at that point of time, and you want to release it for the consumption, or deploying into deploying into the factory and then executing it in the agent. So at the time of releasing, you have two options right now. You can indicate that there is only minor changes, or you can also say you have some major changes. So depending on what you select at the time of releasing, it creates the package accordingly. So if you select only a minor change has been done, it will increment the minor version 1.0 to 1.1, and build number will continue. Okay, if you indicate a major change, so the 1.0 will become 2.0 and build number will increase. There will be further improvements to this in the next releases, and we will also add a third digit to the version 1.0 point. The third digit also will come, but this is the first step towards the proper lifecycle management of the versions. So this is the first step. So you will see that in terms of the new version, you will see 1.1 build number 3 in build has been incremented. Here it is 2.0 build number 3, which indicates a major changes. So this is the overall how we will manage the version numbers in the both store and factory. So let's see some examples. So this one, the left side you will see is on the store. Sorry, on the factory. Right side you will see on the store. So here on the factory you will see version 1.4, and the build number will be mentioned in the bracket. This is for 2004 release, and later this build number will also go, and we will also add a third variation to indicate minor changes. Yeah. So if you go into the history of the versions, you will also see the similar way, 1.3, 1.2, 1.1, and the build number. So you will see that, okay, build number is constantly incrementing. On the on the store level, we will show only the major minor version. We will not show the build version. So here you will see 1.1, and showing all versions will get you through the previous version as well. So this is how the package will be displayed on store and factory. Now, the next question is how we will manage the migration. So there is already packages available in both store and factory. So how during the migration we will handle it. So on the top, you will see how the packages are same, how the package is there in the factory. And so this is a version 4 released. So this will be converted, or it will be moved to version 1.4. So the version 4 is the build number So that one we will take it as the minor release, and we will append 1.4, and this will be the first version after the migration. Okay, in the store, the second example, so we were showing only one number there. This will be also moved to 1.4 with showing all versions. So this will be also migrated like this. So 3 will be incremented by 1, and then we will show as 1.4 in the store consistently. Okay, so now these are some minor improvements. So now we will go to some of the biggest improvements in the factory. So we have simplified agent and environment management. You will see a big improvement and a big functionality, intuitive functionality being adopted here. There is a wizard for deployment. Previously, the deployment was a tab. So now you can actually do a deployment in 3 steps. There is a visual assistance in terms of color coding, and also you will actually see the moment you look at the page, you will see what is happening, whether there is an error or whether or deploying or also onto the package, is there any inconsistency. You can also share environments. So previously the environment and agent was not a first class citizen. So now onwards, environments and agents are first class citizens. You can share these environments with other users as well if you have proper authorization. So these are the improvements that I want to cover in this section. And first of all, there is a new shell. So you will see that, okay, deployments you will not see anymore because the deployments has been taken taken into the background. So you will have the deployments as and when you add a trigger to a package. So you don't see it on the front, but it is handled in the background. So you will not see it in a first class citizen anymore. A management where we were having all the groups for agent, and then environments and also the variables. So all those things was under management. So now we have taken out the management, and now we have added agents and environments into the first class citizen. You will also already see that agent and environment is there in the page. Okay, you can add a agent group, you can add a new environment directly from the entry page itself. Okay, so now first is agent group. So when you click on the agent, you will see agents and agent groups. So there is 2 tabs. Agent group is the same old hierarchy of agents that you want to use in your environments in a hierarchical way. You can create a tree out of it. You can also have the agent groups like machine group or a user groups, up to you. And the old functionality of uploading a CSV file of the hierarchy is still exists. So this is same. We are actually moving the page very much inside to a visible area on the screen so that it can be accessed much faster and intuitively. So you can create an agent group like the same old way, but with a more prominent entry level. Now, coming to the agent, how agents can be used in an environment. So this is the new environment shell. So when you create an environment, we'll also see it in the next slide. When you create an environment, you will see a page like this. So in the environments, you will see all the related artifacts grouped on the left side. So you have, for that environment, what are all the agents that you can connect to. You can add an agent by this add agent, and this add agent will then point to the agent group that you have added. You can add, say, a user group or a machine group, or you can also select an individual machine as an agent. So you can select right side, you will see you can select a group or you can select an individual node at that hierarchy. Then you have variables that is applicable to that environment. So this is very much clear separation. So you don't have any more a management and environment, and then you have to drill down to a variable. You can go to the environment, you will see all the variables that is used in that environment. Packages, you can see all the packages that is deployed into this environments, and also the triggers. So you will see all the triggers in this environment. And this way, this environment is a single entry point for all the board developers, because they will be more or less in this page forever, because they'll be deploying, creating new modification to the agent, deploying it, adding triggers, etc. So they'll be able to access all these artifacts very easily. Now going into the environments, how you can create an environment. So on the top panel, you can go to the environment tab, create a new environment, and you can select the type of the environments, and you're ready to go. You will create a new environment, and you will see all the packages, variables on the left side. Okay, and you can add a trigger. If you're on the trigger selection, you can add a trigger. You can, if you're on the package, you will be able to see all the packages. You can search. You can also, based on the type, you can filter it. Okay, you will also see on the top who is the author and also what kind of access right it has. So that way, I will also show you later how you can share the environment with the other users. Okay. Now, how do we handle the deployment of an artifact? Yeah. So in the package, you will see a add trigger. Okay. So when you do this, this is the way to add a trigger. So the moment you add a trigger to the package view, you can also do it from the environments. You will see, yeah, you have to select an environment first. Okay. So here on this bottom part of the page, you have to select an environment. The moment you select an environment, you will be asked to select the deployment options. So on the point number 2 here, which is grayed out because we are on the first page, you will be able to select what is the deployment options. We will cover that also in the next slides, but to give you a high level overview, what is the options? This is mainly to handle how many versions that you want to manage. So from the factory point of view, we want to make sure that there is as minimal versions as possible, because the moment you create more and more versions, it is creating more and more of artifacts in the factory, which will also incur a lot of additional resources. So our endeavor is to make it simple so that you can use very less number of package. So on the deployment, it will give you options to upgrade. So if there is already a package there, you can upgrade the package to the latest version. Okay, but there is cases where the package is running and you don't want to disturb it, but for testing, you want to deploy it as a new version and a new package. You can also do that. So the deployment options, at the deployment option, you can select which option you want to select, whether you want to merge it to the version that is running, or you want to add a new version to the deployment. And then you can select the trigger type. What is the different types of trigger, scheduled, or attended, or API trigger, whatever you want to select, you can select. So this is the wizard, more so step number 1, 2, 3, and then you will be doing the deployment in the background. Now, the second option that I talked about, how the package version is handled. So when you deploy multiple packages, you will see a change package version, a box. If you're able to see my mouse, like this. This is a way to handle the different packages. You can revert to the previous package and then work with it. So you will see all the package history, but only one package can be deployed for this package. So you can deploy it as a new package and then a new version. But for this package, only one active version can be deployed, but you can revert it to a previous version and then make that as an active package. Yeah. And we will also do warning and error messages when there is a problem. Say, for example, you have a package, you have a trigger already for it, and then you make some significant changes so that the interface changes so that the trigger will not work anymore. So these kind of scenarios, we will show you the proper error messages, and we will also give you indicator that this this trigger might not work by some color coding. Okay, so this is the deployment options I talked about. So there is two options. There is an update package directly. So this will directly update the existing package. You can deploy as a separate package and a separate version. So there are two options that you can select in the wizard. Okay, so now The packages you will see, so maybe quickly you will see here, this package is showing as blue, the color coding here. So there are a few color coding that we use. Blue is, it is enabled. Okay, so this is, everything is perfect, it will work. A gray is disabled. You can also disable a package and disable a trigger. So the gray will tell you that, okay, this is disabled. If there is an orange color warning, that it tells you that for trigger, especially, the trigger will not be executed. So there is some problem. So it could be either that the package is disabled or the package is in error. So the trigger cannot trigger any of this, any of the trigger that is activated. So you have to go back to the package and then check if everything is okay. So this color coding gives you a visual indication that whether the trigger will work or not. So previously this was not there. So you will always have to wait for some time to see whether the trigger is executing or not. You have to find out why is not executing. So there was not a visual indication. Now this has improved a lot. You can, at the moment you create a trigger, you will know that whether it will execute or not. Okay, and also for deployment, there is error messages. So in the wizard that you saw, when you deploy multiple versions of the packages, if there is errors or if there is warning, so you will see it properly in the bottom that this has failed, what reasons it failed, etc., so that it is transparent to the end user and the end user can do the necessary corrections to the package. Okay, so now coming to the last section for the factory, there is a good feature for you to share the environment. So now the environment is a first-class citizen. So you can work with an environment. You can create an environment for a specific project, and you can assign multiple users to it. Multiple users can work on that environment. And there is a good authorization concept behind it. So now you can say, I want to share this environment with a specific set of users. So I can add the user into what roles that they want. They want to manage or edit or read, whatever options they want to select, you can select it. So if you select read, they will be able to see the environment. Say, for example, if you want to share a sample environment which is working for reference for the other user, you can share it as a read. If you want them to also make edits and add additional things, you can have a manage or a edit authorization, so that you can add additional packages, add additional users, etc. Okay. You can also say in the manage, you will be able to manage the environments. You can modify and also you can share it. Okay, so that is a manage. You can also add additionally share to other users. If you're on edit, you will be having edit rights, but you will not be able to share it with others. Yeah. A project member role, you can, if you're sharing with a project member role, they will not be able to add an agent. So adding an agent is only available to the super user. So this, once you created an environment, you can share it with the other users. They'll be able to use the agents that is there, but a project member cannot add additional agents to it. He has to go to the environment admin, and then you have to ask the admin to add the user. So a RPA officer will be able to add a agent. Okay, so now going into the next cluster of Cloud Studio improvements. So mainly it is a new UI layout. So here you will see the standard UI for so many SAP applications like web web GUI, and also the web IDE based application. So you will see a similar layout here. On the left side, you will see a clear margin with a dark background to really tell you that this is the left side and this is a margin pane. The icons have been reworked, and the recent activities will show in the tiles in an order, and you can work you will know what recent activities has been happened to this project. So this is a new styling, and also the standardization that has happened to the Cloud Studio. For the user task, so there is a ability to add a user task into the process. This has been also worked out. So here the layout has been worked out, and also the right panel has been reworked. The buttons have been added into the same layout so that it is more intuitive, so you can add additional buttons. The mandatory fields that you see here is also made visible and also intuitive, so that the user will be able to add those fields, and without adding those fields this will not be able to create a user task which can be reused in your next step. So while saving, it will give you an error if the mandatory fields are not filled. And also the input labels, these are the components that you can use with the user task. This has been already added into the left pane so that you can use it by drag and dropping the fields. Yeah, so these are the UX improvements to the Cloud Studio. Now coming to the on-prem components, especially the connectors. So during the 2004 timeline, we had improved. The major improvements to the connectors are document processing library. So we have added a new library to manage the PDFs, readable PDFs. There is also improvements to SAP WinGUI automations. Few additional activities has been added, and also to the surface automation, some robustness has been added to the surface automation. Okay, so document processing. So one of the feedback that we got from partners and customers was about the lack of ability to manage and also work with PDF type of documents. So this is one of the common scenario any robotic process automation team will face. So we added a library to manage this process. So whenever you have a PDF to read from, and you have to take the data from the PDF and enter into a system, etc., you can utilize this activities and also the SDK functionality. So this will only work with readable PDF. So I want to make it clear that if the PDF is a image directly, this cannot be used. So this is really working with the PDF attributes in terms of the elements, and finding out the elements by their respective properties, just like you will do with the web application. So you will see a web application, you will select a field based on the ID's name or the DOM element, DOM structure. Similar way, PDF also has a structure. We make use of that structure in a readable PDF. This cannot be used in a if the PDF is of type image, or there is it's created from an image, etc. It also supports a password protected PDF. You can give a password and then open it up and then work with it. Okay, there is you will see there is already some activity that you can work with. You can open a PDF, you can get text, you can get text of the page, you can get a regex element, etc. So there are a lot of activities that we have published. On top of that, you can also use the library directly, because there is also some additional functionality that is available in the SDK directly, which can be also used. So these are the improvements that we have for the PDF processing. For the SAP WinGUI, we have added especially two activities. One of them is in terms of page scroll support. So when you are on a report program, the page like this, if you have multiple pages and you want to get some text from that page, second page or third page, it was cumbersome to automate. So we added a activity to manage the pages. So you can go to the next page, you can go to the previous page by the activity, and then you can work with the page. So this is one of the new features that have been added. Also for the grid view, there is a possibility that there is an icon which is also a type of button, and you can click on it. So there is the click activity has been also added to this kind of controls, which is very much common in terms of a grid view type of a page, which is common in SAP GUI applications. This is the improvements in the WinGUI connector. Okay, so now coming to the last surface automation improvements. So there has been 2 improvements. So, you know, in surface automation, we rely on the screen or the image of the screen rather than the DOM elements or the properties of the field. So that is also the reason that you cannot really uniquely identify a control or a field by just looking into it. So for example, here there is a checkbox and there is multiple checkbox on the page. So if you're just looking at the text box from a template point of view, template is nothing but another image, a series of pixels that you can compare with. So you can say, I want to search this image inside another image. Simple searching of an image. So just like searching a text in a Word document, you can search inside an image a pattern of another image. This is what we use for surface automation. We work with images only. So here the checkbox, there are multiple ambiguities. So if you have to really identify this checkbox, you can then link it to the corresponding label associated with it. And that way it will look for a checkbox near to the label checkbox. So that way it is more robust. In terms of say neighboring controls, one of the problems again of surface automation is the resolution. So if you change the resolution, if you resize the windows, etc., the position of the element might change, and this might create some stability issues for the surface automation. So this approach, even though it is not say 100% robust, but it will increase the robustness to next level because it will identify the element with some variation. So if you say, I want to identify an element which can be say 10% variance in X position, 20% variance in Y position, and then you can identify that element by providing this variation. So this will give you little more robustness to identify an element by static coordinates. This will be another ability to identify element other than the template matching. So these are similar but different types of concepts. Okay, so now coming to the last section, store. So in this release, we have added 30 additional bots. Okay, so there are 12 new from S4 bots, and there is also additional 18 that we have added from the IRPA team. And there is also a lot of new content in terms of ECC related functionality, a lot of transactions we have added, and also there is productivity improvement boards, 3 of them. So there is 15 ECC related boards and 3 productivity improvement boards. I'm not going into the board details, individual board details. You can directly go to the public site and then search for it. You will be able to see a lot of them. So that's it. So now I hand over to Pierre for taking you through the marketing and communication section.
Pierre, before you going to speak, this is Svea again. I would kindly ask the participants to be patient. We will take all your questions. We noticed that you have already asked a lot of questions, and we will answer them at the end of the call. So thanks for your patience until then. Pierre, it's your stage.
Thank you, Svea. Hello, good morning and good afternoon to everyone. I'm in charge of marketing and communication for SAP Intelligent RPA, so I will do a quick update of our activities in this area. Next slide, please. So first we will start with our community, and I will say a few words about our overall reach on social media outside of SAP community in itself. We have our own SAP Intelligent RPA page on LinkedIn, which has now more than 18,000 followers. We also have a Twitter handle with 2,000 followers and a YouTube channel where we share videos that can be the recording of our tech webinars or some useful use cases or some customer stories. So feel free to follow us on those channels as well, in addition to SAP community, of course. Next. So we have done a few free courses on the OpenSAP platform. The first one launched last year was SAP Intelligent RPA in a nutshell. We have had more than 23,000 learners here. The second was a more technical one about how to build bots with our product. The first run of that course had more than 17,000 learners, and it has been relaunched this year. It's actually open, and we have more than 9,000 learners that have been enrolled. We had a third one beginning of this year around how to automate around S4HANA with our colleagues from the S4HANA teams. More than 18,000 learners have followed that course. And the next one will come next week, May the 12th. It will be about the new way of bot building with our product. And we have no more than 5,000 learners enrolled. So feel free to use those courses to improve your intelligent RPA skills. Globally speaking, you know that SAP community is a very large community with a lot of content. Talking about SAP Intelligent RPA, we have a lot of blog posts around this topic, with more than 86,000 views beginning of this year, and a lot of technical questions are also raised and answered here by our product experts. So when you have a technical question about the product, feel free to reach out to the community, and you will be helped either by some members of our team or by other intelligent RPA developers or users. So I will recap here the links towards our product page on sap.com. We have the help portal. You have the best practices explorer from S4HANA, which are the pre-built bots that are also available in our RPA store. The learning journey, the series of blog posts on Digitalist and the community, and of course, you know, our community page. So, as you may know, SAP Intelligent RPA is the topic of the month on SAP community this month of May. So we will have a lot of activities, starting with the What's New call, so the one we are here now, and another one within 2 days for a tech audience. We will have some webinars. We will have a series of webinars with our colleagues from the S4HANA team. The first one was April 21st. We will have another end of May. The date will be available soon, and the last one in September. It will tell how to automate around S4HANA using the pre-built bots provided. We will have also a series of webinars with our colleagues from the business process management team and with the Spotlight product. It's about telling a global digital process automation stories with RPA, BPM, and Spotlight for user behavior discovery. And this series of webinars is replacing a pre-conference we had to do at ESUG before Sapphire, which has been unfortunately canceled. As I told already, for fourth OpenSAP course will start next week. And during this month of May, we will have a set of blog posts, a series of blog posts that will be published. We will have at least 2 blog posts per week, including some executive blog posts. The first ones have already been published by Sebastian Schrötel about the future of robotic process automation. Sebastian Schrötel is the head of SAP Intelligent RPA, and he gives his vision on the future of RPA. And Andreas Gerber tells about how we will bring SAP Intelligent RPA to the next level, unveiling the technical directions we are following to improve our product further. And you will also get from Harsha Bhatt some information about our go-to-market activities and some business news. And we will have some customers and partners that will also share their experience in blog posts. And last but not least, we have started to publish a series of short video interviews. We have interviewed RPA enthusiasts that are some of our team members, but also community members, people working for our customers or partners. We asked them 3 short questions and they answer very quickly. And we will release all those videos on YouTube. So if you want to participate, it's very easy to record your answers from from where you are and to share with us. So feel free to ask me if you are interested in participating here. Okay, so now I will do a quick update on some interesting assets you may find to tell about robotic process automation and intelligent RPA. The first one is a use case discovery tool. We have selected a first set of 6 use cases, and 6 others are coming, so 12 will be available soon. And all those use cases are presented in details with examples of what the business outcomes they bring, what return of investment they provide. And this very useful tool is available as both an online HTML tool and also an online PDF you can easily share with colleagues or partners. And last but not least, we have also to tell the market about some success stories from our customers. And here in the last week, we had 2 new business transformation studies presenting projects made from customers in Korea and Japan. The first one is Daewon Pharma. They saved more than 5,000 hours of work with 22 intelligent RPA robots to create sales orders into their S4HANA ERP. And another one is Rihao. Rihao is a polymer producer, and their China subsidiary has improved their financing operations by using RPA bots around S4HANA Cloud to reduce 4 days of works into only 10 minutes. So those, next slide. So those documents are available publicly in the SAP Digital Library, and there are blog posts presenting the use cases. So you can, next slide. So you can see here how those customer stories are presented. Next. And we already had the first one from Viro and Bock, which is a ceramic producer in Germany. And we need you because you are working in the intelligent RPA area for SAP customers or SAP partners, or even SAP internal teams. And when you have done successful projects, and if you want to tell about those projects, feel free to reach out to me, and I will keep you in touch with our customer reference team, and we will be able to do such presentations of your RPA projects to show what our product brings and how you used it to improve your operations. And next slide. And before concluding, I will also share with you this very interesting content. It's the pitch deck created by Murphy Oil and Inkture, which is one of our partners. And they won an SAP Innovation Award this year with a solution built by Inkture to digitalize oil field management with mobile apps accessing a lot of information through RPA bots. So I encourage you to read this story. It's very interesting. It shows how combining not only SAP Intelligent RPA, but other SAP capabilities available in SAP Cloud Platform, you can really improve some industry operations. So thank you very much for your attention, and Vijay and I are now available to answer your questions.
Yes, perfect. Thanks very much, Vijay and Pierre. I have also posted your SAP community profile names here in the chat, so I hope people will follow you now. And we have a question from Evgenia. She or he, I'm sorry, I'm not sure about it. Ask, does PDF processing works only with English or other languages? And from the explanation, I see that no OCR is used and it works on different levels, so it should be supported, hopefully. So I don't know if those two questions are connected. They are in the chat here.
Okay, yeah. So to answer that, it is also available in a few languages, German, French. Also, I think there are some limitations to the language, but at least three to start with: English, German, French. This is supported. The OCR capability. So you have to look at it. Look at a PDF in two angles. Of course, the OCR will give you, to an extent, how it depends on how well trained you have the OCR backend. You will be able to get the text out of it, but it is not 100% reliable. That is one of the reason. And also, if you have to use that feature locally, because many of these are APIs in the cloud, which also requires a little bit of complex run times in terms of GPUs and things like that to have a machine learning models, which is also a limitation if you're working with your laptop. So we have to little bit optimize the usage. So we did our analysis, and which gave a decent inputs that most of these PDFs that you want to automate in a RPA framework or in a RPA context, like a invoice or a purchase order, etc. They are mostly content, not images, but they are really say PDFs with just like any other HTML page. So this we can identify within a robust way. So this, once you have the format fixed, then this application will work in a more robust way. So we want to give that easy and then a robust solution to the users first. Of course, we will improve on top of it. We'll add additional features going forward. But at this point, there is no OCR support out of it. We will also include it in the future, but not now. So the first version, we have only the readable PDFs that is supported without the OCR capability. So you cannot really use the OCR. So you will also see that OCR we are using in the surface automation, but that OCR is fine-tuned to work with the screens and not with the documents.
Perfect, thank you. And I hope this answers your question. And we have two from Vijay in the chat. First is, or will there be a SharePoint connector specifically? And the second is about the languages, and I think this has already been answered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So SharePoint connector, yes, there will be in the future. We have it in our roadmap, but we don't have it out of the box right now. We don't have also a concrete date to tell you at this point, but this is in the backlog. So we have connectors for various types of this, so not only SharePoint, but also Office 365, Google Sheets, Google Mail, etc. So there are a lot of types of third-party connectors that we will work on. So this is in the roadmap, and you will also see this in the next weeks when this new blog post and the new videos coming in, new ways of doing it will also be covered in that video. So there will be a flexible way to add these capabilities in a easier way going forward.
Perfect. And so this was again the hint to have a look in the community on the topic page, because there is everything covered on one page, so they can find all information. Yes, we have this question and answer section here in Zoom, and there are also some questions. And I'm start from the beginning. It's an anonymous asker. Are we able to use the F4 function in SAP GUI?
F4 function. So you mean to say if you are on a field where you want to do a F4 help, right? You can do a click. So you can identify that element and you can perform a click action on top of it, and then you can see the pop-up, and then you can identify that element. Yes.
Great. Second from Lars Heppner, will the utility industry be added to the bot store?
Sorry, I did not get what is the first part?
Will the utility industry be added to the bot store?
Utility in the
utility industry.
Utility industry. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it depends on the bot contents that we add on. For sure, additional bots will come into that specific industry. We will add that. Yes. Yeah.
Great. The next one is from Prashanta. Prashant, I'm sorry, regarding AI business service PDF readability and IRPA PDF readability. How are they different? You can also read the question when you go in the Q&A area. So when I do
yeah,
not.
So the way we read the PDF, I cannot comment on the other one that I'm not really expert on that. But especially the way we read PDF, so we use a PDF.js library internally, and what we do is we identify the PDF structure in terms of pages and elements, and we use this metadata to identify the elements at the runtime and also read the data from it. So this is how we work with the PDF, a readable PDF.
Okay. Next one. Is there any way by which we can use Python scripts in RPA to perform ML related activities? From Chakti?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so the current version of the agent gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of using, say, for example, the PowerShell or the Windows PowerShell capability. So using this, you could initiate a Python shell and work with it locally. This is possible. I've seen a lot of blog posts on community regarding this, how you can use the PowerShell scripts in the agent or in the ActiveX component. So the PowerShell is available as an ActiveX component, and our current agent also gives you ability to use ActiveX components to interact with it. So that is one of the way you can do the Python scripts in the current version of the agent.
Yes, and here again, the hint: when you follow the SAP Intelligent RPA tag in the community, you can find all those blog posts, and it's easy to consume the content from there. Another one from Ashita. I heard Vijay was mentioning the PDF libraries used for readable PDFs. So how about scanned images?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, right now, so most of the PDFs that work with the automation which is created based on some documents has the elements in it. Of course, for the image based PDF, you need a strong OCR or a machine learning API to do that. SAP has a machine learning API to classify a document and identify, say, for example, address and other so invoice related data. But this requires specific training for the specific types of document that you use. So this is an additional service that you will require, and you also will require to train the model for the corresponding documents. You can do that, and you can use that API, machine learning API, to work with it. But the current version is a lightweight and also a very cheap solution in terms of cost, and also the resources which you can work directly in the agent. So these are two complementing part. One, you have to use a little bit of machine learning and APIs, which will increase your cost of the ownership, total cost of ownership. But this one, you can use the existing assets that you have in terms of machine and the other libraries that you want to use, and this will be an easy way to start with.
Thank you, Vijay. There are two more questions. Achita again, does Intelligent RPA have the capability to automate some applications in the background so that the user will be able to work while the automation
Yes, yeah.
is running? Sorry.
Yeah, I can answer that. So yes, so if you look at our activities, there are activities which works in the low level, which you can use to automate. So for example, setting a field value, getting a field value, etc. The moment you use activities which tie to your input device, so for example, a keyboard or a mouse, or you use a mouse click to automate few things. So you use keyboard events to enter data. So that requires say a input device to work, and the input device will not work if your screen is locked and your session is or you are working on the screen. Then the input device will also conflict with the bot execution. So you bot will try to click somewhere and you move the mouse and then it will click somewhere else. So that way you have, when you design your bot, you have to make this conscious decision of using activities that work in the background. So in that way, if you use it, will be able to automate. So if you automate, say for example, a screen with the low level activities, it will work in the background as well, very much.
Okay, perfect. One question from Chakravarti. In SAP GUI, can we capture the items which is open on the right click of the mouse?
This should be possible. Yes, there are. So you can click on it or click right mouse. Also, these activities are available. So on a control, you can do these activities and then you can work with it. Yes.
Okay, perfect. And one last question. Prashant is asking how Leonardo services can be utilized in RPA.
Okay, so Leonardo services are APIs. They are different types of APIs. Some are SOAP, some are REST, some are OData. From the agent or from a studio point of view, our JavaScript library gives you ability to call all these APIs. Probably it's not say so easy to just drag and drop the activity and then use the API, because all APIs are different and they follow different security standards in terms of authorization, authentication. So depending on the API, you have to pass some additional parameters. You will have to make some token calls and then call it. But all these are possible, and there is already samples available in the store from S4 which utilizes this. Even SOAP calls, even REST calls, OData calls, all of these calls we are utilizing in the agent, and there is already samples in the store which uses these capabilities. So you can refer to the store and then get more information on it.
Great, perfect. So that was all from the questions. And we are really at the end of the time. So thanks everyone for joining today's call. It was a pleasure having you here. And yeah, I hope you stay tuned in the community and you follow Vijay and Pierre. Thanks again to you both for this presentation. And I wish everyone a great day and stay healthy and stay tuned in the community. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a
everyone.
great day.
Same to you. Bye-bye.